Hey guys, and welcome back to DarkLogic Studios' Attack on Titan theories and discussions. Before we go any further, I want to give you fair warning that these videos are going to contain lots and lots of spoilers. So if you're not caught up with the manga, then what are you doing with your life? Seriously though, if you don't want spoilers, you should probably click on something else. If you're all caught up though, then let's get to it. Hey guys, so I decided to go ahead and start doing this series of videos where I'm going to briefly talk about one certain topic having to do with Attack on Titan and just quickly share my thoughts about it, because there's so much going on right now and there's a lot that I don't have time to talk about in the discussions videos, and I'm still going to do those the same way as I was planning to. But I just want to throw out these extra little videos to just quickly talk about some things that are on my mind and see what you guys think about it. So I don't know what exactly I want to talk about in these. It's going to be kind of random, just whatever is I need to get out of my head at the moment, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this too, and that way I can get your guys' input, and you guys can kind of help me in a way to kind of create these discussion videos, the final products. And thank you 15 Pinto Ponies for pointing this out, is that I can actually use these quick thoughts videos and apply them to the discussion video, and that way I can kind of get my thoughts out and then also make them as part of a larger video. So I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'm not going to do a lot of editing in these ones. They're just going to be minimal editing, maybe a couple pictures. I'm just going to talk into a microphone and share my thoughts on something. So in this first video, this is something that I want to talk about that I got to thinking about last night. And the reason I got to thinking about it was because somebody sent me a tweet of this panel with Armin. This came from Thou, at Thou1, and they've said that in their physical copy of Volume 19, Armin actually says, "Descendants of the Devil," and this is the scene where when they're in Shingeki and Bertolt finally grew some balls and confronted Armin, and he's talking about how he has to kill everybody, and Armin asks a very odd question, and he says, "Is it because we're descendants of evil or descendants of the devil?" And either one really is very interesting. I mean, it kind of basically means the same thing, but the thing is, like, where did Armin get that? I mean, is he just saying that figuratively, just talking about humanity itself? Has he overheard something that Reiner or Bertolt had said? Like, where did he get that from? Because as far as I can remember, we don't have that kind of talk about anybody being descendants from the devil or descendants of evil or something like that outside the Marley. So it's definitely suspicious that Armin would put it that way and say that. It's like he kind of knows Bertolt and Reiner and the Marley's viewpoint in some way, and this is before we get to the basement. This is before we even know about the Marley. It, you know, made me wonder where this came from and what exactly is Armin thinking when he's saying this. It's like he knows something. He knows more than he's letting on. My question, and it may be easily debunked, so go ahead and debunk it if you can, but I think that there might be just enough circumstantial evidence to warrant taking a good look at. So my question is, did Armin know about the Marley all along? Now, that may seem like a stretch. After all, how would he have known this? Why would he have kept it to himself all this time? I mean, especially with his whole dream about seeing the ocean, he never expected any people to be outside beyond the ocean, as far as we know. But then again, we don't always get to see what the characters are always thinking and feeling in this manga. A lot of our characters do have secrets, and I'm just waiting for Armin's secret to be revealed, because like I said, if you've seen my other theories videos on him, I feel like there's a lot of mystery still surrounding Armin. Like, something's gonna happen with him, especially since he's colossal now. Like, this little fucker, there's more going on with him than we're being led on to. So it makes me wonder, where could he have gotten that? If he knows more than he's letting on, where could he have gotten this information? And How much does he know? Why hasn't he mentioned it before? And I started thinking about that book of his grandfather's and wondering if that book said anything about the Marley in it. Now, it's probably unlikely because obviously if it had said something about people on the outside, they would have noticed that, Armin and Eren, and you know, because obviously the whole thing is that they're supposed to be the last surviving members of humanity, so I'm sure they wouldn't overlook that. However, what if that wasn't the only book that Armin's grandfather had? What if that wasn't the only information that he relayed to Armin before he died? If he allowed Armin to see that book, then he obviously wanted to, you know, for him to learn about this stuff and to like stoke his curiosity so that he maybe, hopefully, would become somebody who would fight back against this, all of the lies that have been going on. Like I said before, we don't know anything about Armin's parents either. We don't really know much about his grandfather. There's so much we don't like that and you know, the fact that this freaking book and his parents were, I'm pretty sure they died trying to leave the walls in that hot air balloon, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Armin could be privy to some information that we are not aware of. Like, for a second I was thinking, it seemed like it'd be kind of weird to have a book about the outside world without any mention that there are people out there. But then again, we have plenty of books that are just about nature and geography that don't mention people, so that's certainly possible. But like I said, what if there were other books? What if there were other books that his grandfather had that he showed him before he died, or more information about the outside world that he told him before he died? Because his grandfather knew he was going to die because he was part of that operation, that fake operation to retake Wall Maria, and so I would think that his grandfather would want whatever information he and his parents had about the outside world and about whatever, that he would want to pass on to Armin before he died, because otherwise that information would die with him. So could it be possible that Armin knew about the Marley the whole time? I'm gonna have to reread and rewatch everything just to see, kind of judge Armin's reactions and mannerisms when this stuff comes up. But a couple scenes did stand out to me, and you know, going back to chapter 86 through chapter 89, when we found out about the Marley and we found out all this other stuff that Kruger had told Grisha and whatever, I thought it was really weird how Armin really seemed to have no reaction to all this. I mean, it was really strange to me because obviously Eren was flipping out, Mikasa like stopped eating, she was all depressed and shit, and Hanji was totally like totally changed. Levi was just kind of going through the motions. It's just kind of quietly trying to deal with Erwin dying, and but Armin, despite all of this happening, he really didn't seem to be affected by it at all. You know, he was just kind of like there. He was just fine. He was he didn't really say anything about it. And you know, it's weird because, I mean, when we have this moment, when we have these chapters where we get all this information, like the one character that should be talking about it and trying to figure it out and explain it, the smartest character in the story is Armin, but he says nothing about it, and that's just really weird. And I thought that was weird ever since I read that chapter. So this might actually explain that, because if Armin already knew about the Marley, then he wouldn't have a big reaction to it. He would have had he would have dealt with this information way back whenever he got it in the first place, when he was a kid. And I'm sure that his grandfather told him, really made sure that Armin knew not to tell anybody about that, because if Armin started going around telling people that there are people outside the walls and spewing out all the secrets of the world, then he'd be dead. He'd probably end up just like his parents. And Armin's smart, so he wouldn't do that. So another possibility, though, like we've been talking about the paths and stuff like that, what if Armin got this information not from any physical source, from another person, but from possibly accessing these pathways, possibly gaining this information from some intangible source that he's not fully aware of. You know, maybe Armin has some special connection to these pathways. Like it said in chapter 88, I think it was, they were talking about this one shifter that had this like special ability with them. And at that moment, it had a panel with Armin just kind of looking off to the side. And then again at the end there, Armin's all like staring at Eren in the courtroom when Eren's thinking about the whole like Historia thing and her helping him use the coordinate. And again, I still think there's a possibility that Armin could be a Reese. And now he's got the Colossal Titan and all this shit. And so maybe that's another possibility. Just like in the way that Kruger somehow knew Armin and Mikasa's name and was kind of reiterating something that Grisha, I think, had said. Got these memories seemingly from out of nowhere. And Eren as well, with Kruger's memories, you know, we know that that memories and information can be relayed through these pathways, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Armin may have a way to access these pathways and gain knowledge without really being aware that he's accessing them. And maybe that explains why he's so freaking smart and why he just seems to know things without really, like, sometimes without even really sufficient evidence of it. Like when Bertolt came down over the wall in that barrel and Armin turns around and he knows immediately that it's Bertolt. How does he know that? How could he possibly figure that out so quickly? It's like he seems to just, like I said, just kind of know things, just kind of have this weird sixth sense about things. So this really got me wondering, guys, and I want to know what you guys think about this. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is significant? Am I looking too much into this? Let me know your thoughts, because I think this is something worth looking at, and I think this might be a bit of a clue here that we may have overlooked. So, yeah. Alright guys, so that was my first quick thoughts video. I want to do more of these. I'm just going to kind of do them on the side as I'm working on the discussion videos, and kind of so I can get my thoughts out there so they're not clogging up my brain. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on this as well. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Peace.